25 frames final. Hello, very good evening. It's a full house here in Venue Cymru, a sellout for the final and a busy studio as well, not a spare seat. We've got Alan McManus, Neil Foulds and Stephen Hendry as we've had all week. And before we hear their thoughts though, let's just recap what happened this afternoon.
We arrived at Venue Cymru this afternoon ready to acclaim King Ronnie, and the rocket launched final day with a century. Leading 6-3, many wondered whether he would surge clear and lift the trophy early evening. Forget that, folks. Instead, this has developed into a scintillating Sunday shootout. Helped by a century of his own, stubborn Robertson simply refused to succumb meekly and won 3 of the next 4 frames. Again at 8-6, O'Sullivan was in charge, but Robertson just kept punching. Frame 15 went the way of the Australian, and so did the last of an intriguing afternoon, as O'Sullivan's standard and concentration slipped. This epic started out as the best of 25 frames. Now it's been distilled to the best of 9. The Coral Tour Championship is set for a rip-roaring finish.
A super Sunday of snooker coming up. Stephen, we saw the way that Ronnie won last night, 5-3 the first session. Robertson's done the same today, 5-3 the second session. Evenly placed. Who's in the driving seat now?
At this moment in time, Neil Robertson, clearly. The way Ronnie finished the last 2 or 3 frames, he lost focus. It looks as if he even lost interest. And that was confirmed when he conceded the last frame, just needing 1 snooker. So if that same Ronnie turns up tonight, Neil Robertson's really got to press home that advantage, really take, win the first 2 or 3 frames, and really keep his foot in the pedal. Yes,
Neil, it's a different final to one we saw a couple of weeks ago in Preston.
It is, yeah. I think that Ronnie is likely to come out absolutely fully driven tonight again. But Stephen is right. He did lose his way a little bit towards the end, and the good match player that Neil Robertson is, he's recognised the signs of that. And he won the important frames. He knew he needed to win those frames. He had to make hay when the sun shines. and he set up a great clash now.
Yeah, he knew he had to take his chances when they came along. He just went about his business in a sort of workmanlike way, didn't he?
Yeah, very much so. Sorry, Jill. I think we're going to find out a lot about both players tonight for different reasons. Ronnie doesn't often get reeled in these long finals. He's been reeled in. He's got best of 9 to come, both lads. Neil's got the winning line in sight now as well. So how will that affect him going forward?
Let's take a look at some of the key shots then from this afternoon's session.
Yeah, I thought this was actually the biggest frame of the match. As we see, Ronnie got a 3-frame lead here. He really should have put this frame to bed, guys. I mean, whether the table's playing a little more sluggish and it didn't make the journey, we don't know. That's maybe giving him a bit of an out, but this was a bad mistake, wasn't it, by Ronnie?
Yes, it's not often Ronnie misses a trick, and when he's usually a very reliable front runner, isn't he? And it's 6-3. I think everyone, as Phil said in his recap, everyone was expecting him to run away with the match then.
Yeah, it looks like going 7-3 here, didn't he? Like you say, but then Neil did well. Obviously, got a great nudge here on the black, but he deserved it really after the pink, and that's how you want frame ball. And that did sort of change things. From then on, it was a slightly different game. This is at 8-7, so this is the last frame, and Robertson had a red to the middle, which was not, straightforward, which kind of helped him. And once this goes in, he feels he's going to win the frame.
Yeah, sorry, Neil. Actually, remember the last frame of the first session as well? Jelly nicked that as well, which was really, you felt it was important at the time, and how important this frame's going to be remains to be seen. But you looked good today, didn't you?
61 in it, right? 59 on. Give me one good reason why O'Sullivan didn't play on there. Now, sometimes if it's the second or third last frame, you might think, I just want to get on with the next frame. I don't want to get involved in safety. But it's the last frame of the session. What's 5 more minutes? All that does is tells your opponent that you can be rattled. That's all it does. It sends a message out that I'm not quite absolutely as focused as usual. And Neil Robertson looked a little bit, well, I'll take that. You always do what your opponent doesn't want you to do.
I don't know, unless he just thought, look, I've lost this frame. I just want to put this session to bed, and let's reset and go again tonight. Best of 9.
Yeah, Neil Robertson said, thank you very much. I'll take all of that. Anything you want to give me, I'll take.
Well, we'll see what they come out with this afternoon. I mean, this evening. I wonder what they've been doing in the interim. What would you be doing?
Just chilling out. I'd go back to the hotel, get something to eat, just basically relax and try and forget about. As I say, I found it quite easy to switch off in between sessions. I think Ronnie does as well. I'm not so sure about Neil. I don't know what his routine in between, but yeah, the guys would just go back and relax. They've been in this position plenty of times before.
Well, despite being pegged back this afternoon, Ronnie O'Sullivan certainly remains the man to beat. We sent Stephen and Alan to take a look at the secret of the break builder.
Just recently, this man across the table hit on a really good point about Ronnie's break building. Does he wait to go into the pack a little later, generally, than he used to? Stephen, we've got a little situation set up here.
Yeah, Alan, Ronnie goes into the pack better, I think, than most players. I think all the top players generally know how to do it, but when Ronnie goes into the pack, there's a purpose. There's not just a blind pot in the black and going into the pack, the reds as hard as possible. We've got an example here with the reds. Now, a lot of players, probably amateur players, would just hit the black as hard as they can, go into the bunch. If you make contact with this red, it's no good, because the cue ball generally will just stick to the pack, because we're going to play this as a stun shot. Ronnie's target here is the middle red, and he knows if he hits that red at the right pace, the reds will split everywhere. Well, let's see how it goes. Stun, not screw. Now you see, we haven't opened the whole pack, but you see, we didn't play at extreme pace, but the important thing, we hit the red we wanted to hit, and look at the result.
I think another point is he's not that intent on getting these all open. He's happy to just push out, what, 4 or 5?
Absolutely. I mean, look at the position we're in now. He's going to win the frame from there, no doubt.
Yeah.
So this is another example of going into the pack, this time from the blue. What's he thinking?
Well, I think in recent years, Ronnie has gone in from blue a little quicker, or a little more than he has used black. If this red's not here, then he'll maybe come on this red, then come low black and go in from black. But because of this red, it's a nice target, I think, Stephen, isn't it? They've got a flat, almost a little buffer zone here. But what I think Ronnie thinks more about pace than anything.
Yeah, he's not going to hit this too hard, is he?
Yeah. So there you see it. He pushes out 2 or 3 reds, and he can work off these. He's taken it to a new art form.
The art of the master break builder. Is he the best at it in the business at the minute?
I think he is at the moment, yeah. I mean, obviously, Stephen, probably he learnt a lot from watching someone like Stephen, who was obviously a wonderful break builder himself. Of the others, Ding Junhui's a great break builder, great pack opener. Ronnie won't be the only person to pass 1,000 centuries in his career, though. So it's a question of who the next one will be, you know. I mean, is it going to be Judd or is it going to be Neil Robertson, someone like that?
Yeah, I mean, these guys have actually shown the Robertsons, the Dings, the way in terms of break building, and they've all garnered that knowledge and watching, and there are a lot that are very, very good at it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting actually to see who the next one is. I don't know if they have betting on it, but obviously Neil Robertson, John Higgins, Judd Trump, they're all pretty close, so it'll be very interesting to see who does it.
We'll keep an eye on that. Listen, let's just have a quick prediction ahead of tonight's match then. Where we are, it's the best of 9, effectively, so...
I think if it was a fresh match, I would go with Sullivan every time in a final.
I still think O'Sullivan wins. I think, you know, he goes back to world #1 remarkably. But it's a little closer than we thought, and Ronnie showed us maybe why he doesn't win the World Championship every year. He hasn't won it since 2013, because in long matches he becomes a little impatient.
I think sometimes when you lose your composure, as it looks like Ronnie's done, it's difficult to get it back during the match. So for that reason, I say Neil.
OK, we're going to find out very soon. After the break, we'll get the action underway. More.
Good evening and a very warm welcome to the Coral Tour Championship here at Venue Cymru in Llandudno. This is the final, it's a best of 25 frames and this crowd are ready for action, so let's welcome the players. We begin with the reigning Welsh Open champion, a player with 15 career ranking titles to his name, the 2010 World Champion, the Thunder from Down Under, Neil Robertson! Opponent, a player with more Triple Crown titles than any other in the history of the sport. He's a 5-time champion of the world, the Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan!
You couldn't wish for a better culmination, not just to the Tour Championship, but also to the entire Coral Series. First it was Cheltenham, then Preston, now Llandudno. A trio of terrific events.
Round 17.
Who will be crowned the overall champion? That will be decided this evening.
Many a time Ronnie O'Sullivan has come into these final sessions of huge finals as this one is, and he's produced the goods. What's he got for us this evening? Just as pertinently, is the big Aussie Neil Robertson going to play after winning this afternoon's session 5-3 to level things up?
One. Five.
Potted one this afternoon's session to the yellow pocket, not dissimilar to this, but he would be leaving one. That's why he is taking it on. Probably playing for bulk colour this time. Not quite there. And he left the red. Certainly left the one to right corner, the black pocket. Can Ronnie get through to one in bulk?
Well, even though he didn't pop the initial red, I thought he cued it quite well. Good cueing required with this as well. That was the perfect settler on a big occasion like this. Struck with authority.
Eight. Little piece about break building, or myself and Stephen talking about. We're gonna be interesting to see just how he tackles this little situation. Still 4, possibly 5 loose reds.
9.
Deftest of little soft screw shots here, just to hold the red. See that? Just holding the red beautifully.
60. 70. 74. 75.
Yeah, as long as he goes into the right half of the pack here, if he goes into the pack. He should be the one in ball because in the back of them. He's definitely on one to right middle. This looks okay.
32. $33.
Normally, he would fully exploit a chance like this.
38.
So late in the final of the inaugural Tour Championship isn't normal, though.
$39.
But there's nothing that gets his juices flowing more than sizable contributions. Fluent snooker. That's O'Sullivan's competitive lifeblood. Even though he's a fine safety player, this is where he really excels.
$42. $49. $50. $57. $58.
Just a handful of pots away from securing this opening frame of the evening.
$65. $66.
That's pretty much frame ball. Now he's targeting a century to send a message.
$73. $74.
How good a break builder is Ronnie
79.
O'Sullivan? Well, if he makes a century here, it would be the 10th time
8.
he's made 2 or more centuries in a match against Robertson.
$87. $88. $94. $95.
The opening statement then of this final session.
102. 104.
This O'Sullivan's 60th century of the season, and he's only played in 10 tournaments.
111.
The vast majority of the rank-and-file members of the tour would just love to make 60, playing everything, everywhere.
160.
The marker is comprehensively down. Sullivan says, I might have wobbled this afternoon, but not now. Chip.
Playing this safety shot, probably between yellow and brown. Doesn't want to catch that brown. A little on the thin side. Can Ronnie get through to this red? The right corner. I think he just can. That's a mini mistake. Neil, will it be exploited? Oh yes. Oh yes, that was very sweet. Yeah, as I said, Neil needed the cue ball behind the yellow, not behind the brown. Now then, trademark blue.
Well cued. I don't think he had the best of contacts on that blue, actually. It seemed to skid a little. Certainly the cue ball did. Hence the white being in a section of the table he wasn't quite anticipating.
Seven.
It's already apparent that there's a freedom to his cueing this evening, the way he's going through the cue ball. He is striking it to perfection just at the minute, and there's another. That is absolutely perfect.
11.
A little soft cannon on and off the cushion on the red. There you go.
12.
Everything. Absolute perfect working order so far.
$90. 20. 27. 20.
That shot that Ronnie just played, you know, he stunned it in. Most guys in the game would have rolled that in. The reason he stuns it is to, I think at least, is so that he feels in control. You know, when you're punching shots in, it's better than just dribbling them in.
35.
Likes to play punchy shots. That's the pink ball.
36.
No, it doesn't. He played that shot actually earlier today, didn't he? But he had a lot of right-hand side on it. Deep screw with right-hand side to get the cue ball chasing up top towards blue. That time he just played sort of natural pot, which was
Yellow ball.
just a touch of left, which killed the cue ball. So shove the yellow safe.
And then Sullivan, 36.
is again, this red. See, you want it chasing top side. It almost checked, didn't it, back into the pink.
In a strange way, the red that came to block the path of the pink to the top right-hand pocket might have done O'Sullivan a favour, because the pink he'd left himself was quite a ticklish one, so it took the decision out of his mind. He had to play safe. Again, trusting the table. Needs must, I suppose. It wasn't an easy pot. He was stretching awkwardly as well, using the rest, so there were mitigating circumstances there.
Just get through the edge of this red now, as ever. Premium here on not catching green and brown on the way back. Nice and thin, but just a bit too thin. So gauntlet has been thrown down in the previous frame. What does Neil have in response? This is not easy at all. This is one of the long shots that are difficult for these guys. Not an awful lot of pocket to aim at. Oh, superb. You see, he just potted it off the far jaw, didn't he? He may still be on the pink, the far corner. You can definitely get through to potting it. How brave is he feeling? Oh, she's fabulous under pressure. Fabulous composure.
That was arguably his best shot of the match, because he knew if he missed it, more than likely, the frame had gone west.
Eight.
Plays this shot, I believe, as well as anyone in the game to get back top side of blue.
Fought.
if he can take a combination of exclusively high colours with the remaining reds.
90.
Robertson can do enough to put the frame safe before the awkward yellow, but he will need a certain amount of blacks. And talking of the awkward yellow, that's in a different context here. Our referee Greg Caniglio is well placed to see any infraction should it occur. He was getting very close to it, so he's playing a different shot.
20.
It's a good observation you make, Phil, because the blue going in here, which we assume it will, and now 11 points adrift. 5 blacks
25.
obviously would be 40. He only has a 3-point buffer. Can take 3
26.
pinks and 1 black with these 5 reds. Do not need the yellow.
$32. $33.
It's interesting that he's taken the blue. Now needs. It means that he will need that yellow.
38. $39.
Perhaps took the pink for the reason that he can't quite see if the black's actually on its
44.
spot. What he's worried about is if he pots the, that's what he's looking for. Where's the black spot? He doesn't want to be potting the black without shifting the red. Of course, if it goes back where it is now, if it is exactly on its spot, then the red won't go. That's why I left, trying to leave a high black and just caress the red away from the black spot.
46.
An interesting ploy. Is he playing a snooker or is he playing the cannon? Oh, lovely. So having solved
52.
one problem. So on to the second part of the puzzle. How does he deal with the yellow?
Well, one part of the shot was okay, but by playing it like that, he sacrificed position on his next ball. Frame very much wide open.
Yeah, you could think here, you could possibly just birdie the black onto its own cushion here, but we know what Ronnie's like at clearing up. He gets on a black along this black cushion, done it a couple of times in this tournament already. I think at the very minimum, he's going to try and put something safe. Yeah, he's going to put the pink safe. Another good choice, actually. Might not get the snooker. The pink's more important, actually, to get safe. And he's made a really good job of that.
Here, Robson, 53.
A very agreeable object ball for O'Sullivan. Since he ran out of position on the colours, Robertson's had the tactical initiative, and it's hard for anyone to wrest that away. O'Sullivan's trying his best, and he just keeps averting damage, just about.
Yeah, interesting little shot he's got. He can't really send the yellow down past the right middle pocket for obvious reasons. I want to give Ronnie an opportunity to just promote the pink. Yeah, that's clever. He may have left the shot to nothing unless the yellow keeps going. Just about has, yeah. You see, he couldn't risk leaving it anywhere near the pink there, Neil Robertson. Has to be mindful here of getting the yellow down onto the black cushion. Has to give this plenty of pace. Yeah, well played. Got the pace just about right.
Robertson left a gap. So close the yellow. But again, it's run into that awkward zone. Robertson 17 points ahead, so he needs yellow, green and brown. From here, O'Sullivan needs all 6 colours.
This next shot here, Neil Robertson might get a chance to get in behind Brown. Saying that, once again, he wouldn't want to risk putting the yellow anywhere near the pink, so he'll be using green and blue, I'd imagine. He's tried in behind Brown. Well played. Very well judged. Just seeing those little things. The minute I see Ronnie playing the yellow up table, you think, oh, he could be in behind Brown in a second. Chance then, he's had to work his socks off for this, hasn't he? Neil. Ronnie probably half a dozen times. Now he's got his reward. Take advantage. Does need the brown.
Two. Five.
Be better this for a righty than a lefty. Needs the rest. There was no need to play any kind of position. Just keep it simple. And Neil Robertson simply refuses to go away.
Yeah, Robertson, 9.
This afternoon, O'Sullivan opened with a century. Robertson responded, and he's done exactly the same thing this evening. 9-9. Very lengthy match, stretching out in front of us when it started. Now, basically, it's down to the distance we started the Coral Series with. Best of 7. Now he's glad it didn't go in. And unlike most frames when they're in this embryonic stage, quite a few balls are out of the bunch, Alan.
Yeah, this little drop on the pack, the 4 on the line, pretty much touching. Has to really catch one of the bottom 2. He's looking at now. As long as he just tickles onto one of the 2 bottom reds of the 4, he shouldn't leave that red. Oh, this is high, isn't it? He left something for Ronnie. Just depends how the queuing's going to be, how awkward.
I think it's going to be super hampered because of the little gap between that red and the pink. It could be much worse than this. The problem he's got, of course, is that awkward red that's impeding his bridge hand.
Three. Four. Eleven. 12.
Wanted to flick the secondary red rather than hit it quite as full as that.
Ninety.
Now then, anything nice and straight on this red. I can work off the black. Just a wee bit high, but should be okay.
25.
Yeah, he's looking to see the red at the bottom of the pack, the second one in from the right. Will that go? Low black here and just a little soft cannon, just push the outside red out the way. You see, he doesn't want to go into the pack, they're not a good shape, so the outside red, just nudge that. Now in potting this, he brings them all into play.
33.
Brick building, he's got the pattern absolutely spot on. Doesn't like it. There's a little bit too much angle on it. It'll keep though.
34.
See if we can get just low of straight this time.
39. Fought.
Yeah, this is where you're going to need double zip on this cue ball now. I'll lose it. It's all about timing. Don't overhit it. See that? Difficult to get any reds moving there. Again, looking
47.
back 3 or 4 shots ago, the red that he had low, I think he'd have definitely played it years ago. Is he playing a double here? Back down for black.
In terms of keeping the break going now, surely he's going to have to concede defeat. Not decisive, but a good platform.
Touching ball.
First Robertson, then O'Sullivan, and finally the referee. All look, and of course it's the referee who says touching ball, which helps O'Sullivan out.
Yeah, considering risking the cue ball up in the corner, covered by only 1 ball though, that's the problem. I don't think he'll play that. I think it's just too risky given the situation. I think just resting into them is fine. We'll get the opportunity within the next 2 or 3 shots, I think, to bring reds into play. Just batten down the hatches then for the time being. That's the call. Meanwhile, Ronnie will probably be trying to get a red safe if he can. Looks like he's going to have to bide his time. Can't put a red safe off this little plant, the 2 reds. Trying to swerve it to get the one in the open, but he just can't quite see it. Yeah, trying it though, just bend it slightly, just nestle the red onto the side cushion. Yeah, couldn't quite get to it. Packed house, Sunday night. Can't beat it, can you? Yeah, looking to see if the red passes the green, which it doesn't. So looks like he's going to take this red onto the yellow pocket. There's definitely value in it. The only red he can leave is likely to be the one he's playing. Change of plan, he's going for the red to middle. Nope.
Asking an awful lot, it really was. And so, from here, O'Sullivan will fully expect to tidy up and regain the lead.
1. Six. Seven.
Playing to the scoreboard.
40. 50.
And that's match play for you. Just pot what you need.
$90. 20. 27.
And there's a crowd pleaser.
28. $34. 35.
So with 2 bites of the cherry, a run of 48 to start things off. And then this, Sullivan back in front.
40. 41.
Look at this. What are the chances? 0 to none for most players. But he seems to have that Midas touch.
27.
48 to start, 47 to finish. Robertson didn't pot a ball in that particular frame. And O'Sullivan, again in the ascendancy at 10-9. Coral to a championship final this evening. And the standard has risen in tandem with the stakes. Both of these fine snooker warriors are missing very little this evening. And that's borne out by the pot success rate. %94 from frames 17 to 25. 92% for Robertson.
I think there's a gap through to the red near the right corner. But the one Ronnie's playing, a wee bit more queuing room in that, queuing off the leather of the pocket. The other one actually looks a bit of a guide. Not saying it gives them all that much help, but a little help, especially with this kind of shot. Oh yes, oh yes, what a shot.
One.
Gasp of exasperation, not quite on the black. Dang it, he's saying. Think he cares? best place for the cue ball. The first thing. Excellent. Eyes glued to that spot. The second thing is, he will have wondered, it'll have crossed his mind here, is it worth tempting Neil Robertson with that red near the left corner in some shape or form? Probably not. No, that's good. That is very good. That's the exact spot that his eyes were on. He wants to leave the two reds in the right half. Neil can't do a thing with those.
And it's one of those shots, Alan, that looks absolutely straightforward, but you've got to hit the brown so precisely.
Yeah. What a match of snooker this is tonight. Having to work one another so hard to get any sort of chance.
Yes, in a month's time, the World Championship at the Crucible will be in full swing. These two are obvious contenders. To go there with the Tour Championship under your belt, what a boost. Well, given the amount of kisses there, very fortunate, Robertson. Very fortunate indeed.
Yeah, he was trapped, wasn't he? That's the thing, you know. To his credit, he tried to play his way out of the danger. You know, he gave himself a shot to nothing. And there was a gap to get back through. Right, a couple of kisses on those two reds. How does Rony cover the red near the left corner? It's a question to be answered. He's considering playing thick off the pack half ball and swinging the cue ball round. The two things against that shot are A, catching the yellow on the way up, and B, going in off in the yellow pocket. He may consider that just a bridge too far in terms of the risk factor.
Shot time over 1 minute and 30 seconds, and this is Ronnie O'Sullivan, but you cannot blame him in the slightest. It's the situation, both in the match and what he's looking at, that is leading to this uncharacteristic indecision.
I agree, Phil, though. I can fully understand him taking his time here. I think he's taking this red on, you know. Oh my goodness! Where's he found that from? Oh, shots like that make my heart leap like a Tay River salmon. What a shot. No wonder he took a couple of minutes thinking about it. That's another toughie. He takes the black on.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, one.
Who's an R's because it's O'Sullivan, but that was high tariff. And the cue ball was always going away from the Reds anyway.
Oh, wow. Oh. His long game has been good all match, in all honesty. Big Robbo. This is quite awkward with the bridge. It'll feel awkward down on the shot. Oh, that's superb again.
Eight. No. $60. $70.
Hint of a bad contact then. He's got to attack the reds here.
Yeah, Rob's 70.
Well, that's one of those mistakes where after you've made it and you've looked around, the prevailing emotion is one of relief because you've done no damage. You could so easily have gone into the bunch there, missed that black and done the game.
Expect Neil to be in some sort of trouble here. It's not going to be snookered, but he's going to try and block all routes back to bulk off this, up behind the yellow. See, this isn't going to be easy to get back to bulk off that red near the blue line. Can't do anything with it. Surely he's not taking this red on. My goodness, what a shot this is to take. Yeah, he'd like to, but I suppose, yeah, I don't think he's going to play it. I think he considered it, but I don't think for a second that he's going to play it. Just push this red up and down. The outside one on the bunch of reds. Back to plan A then. Is it a cross double? Played it, it was worth playing. Yeah, Ronnie's thinking about the exact same thing. Back down for black as well. The wry grin. Flicking the yellows just ruined it.
Had he caught the yellow a little thinner, he might have been okay, but I'm afraid not with that kiss. Deserve more.
He's going power. This could be a natural to flick this red out, the one by the left cushion. That's what he's played. Missed the blue. Has he got the red? And he hasn't, but the blue's pushed something else out.
Sullivan.
Whatever next. See here, it's an overcut. I think he'd like to play for blue here. Obviously black's line weight and weight as well. It's just simply concentration, that's all that is. Just took his eye off the pot, just for a split second, that's all it takes.
And again, having missed the red, it could have been a lot more costly in terms of what's been left. Robertson was keeping his beady eye on that one. He didn't want the red to stop anywhere in the vicinity of the middle pocket, and at one point it looked as though it would do, but it travelled far enough. Back to the old cross double route. It might look rash, but it most certainly isn't.
Yeah, the only thing, there's a red to far corner, isn't there? The green pocket. The ball just coming off the cushion about 6 inches. Now then, this is a big, big shot. That's a certain solace in bringing the cue ball back to this cushion. Oh, Michty me, what a shot that is.
In the second frame this evening, he knocked in an absolute blockbuster of a pink, a do-or-die shot. That was in the same bracket. Neil Robertson made of stern stuff.
Yes, is he ever. Great shot to himself back in control of this frame. Not a big lead, but in the face of it, 20 odds quite big the way the balls are. Red safe, brown safe. That's very clever, especially for a left-hander playing for yellow in there. Just off straight top side of this red then, to get nice on blue to follow it. That is perfect. Absolutely perfect.
11. 12.
Just one good little split away then, splitting these 4 reds. Going to the final interval. 10 frames apiece. Quite happy to play the half ball red now. One at the back of the 4 does go.
70.
You just got to sit back and admire these players. You simply have. Being courageous doesn't mean you don't get afraid out there. But courage does mean that you don't allow that fear to hinder your efforts. Just a wee bit too high in the blue. Maybe the pink's in his way here, so maybe forced to play in a little soft cannon on the 4 reds. But with Neil's cue power, should get back for the red. Neil, a little surprised. Neil, sorry, Phil, he didn't play the soft cannon off the blue.
20.
Well, this one most certainly is the definition of a tester. Test passed with flying colours.
51.
Yeah, and look at that other red there. It doesn't go to this same pocket, so it's either low for the red to right middle or disturb the 3. Quite a nice angle to disturb, just a flick of left-hand side. He's played position, but that's not on anything. Let's end the break.
26.
The moral of the story may be he should have gone into them when he had the chance, as you suggested, Alan. Normally very aggressive in that regard when it comes to trying to develop the bunch.
New Robs, 26.
Oh dear, what a shot again.
What?
So often, late in matches, when a frame is stolen from well behind, it has a pivotal effect. Now Sullivan knows that if he can possibly plunder this one, it would be gargantuan. Clearly the red on the left-hand side cushion, close to where the brown is, against him. Oh, and so is that red. So is that red.
Rony O'Sullivan, 7. One.
Robertson 34 ahead at the moment, so the black and one more red required.
Nothing like playing for the red in the same corner. The only thing I would say, I think I'd rather see Neil play for it to right middle. It does go to the far corner, the green pocket as well. I expect him to get this. Obviously frame ball.
8.
Thing, just double checks the scoreboard. Nothing to do with the cue ball, just pot the red. No.
Neil Robertson, 8.
Robertson actually winced there as he played that shot. I think he's hurt his back. I hope it's only temporary.
Yeah, I think he just twisted it just a tad. Seems to be all right in his chair there. Seems to be okay. Here it is again. It's more getting back up off the shot, wasn't it? You seen it? Gingerly getting back up.
Well, at least the table is wide open now for a possible O'Sullivan clearance. The only problem is Robertson has his pick of what to do with this red.
Shaping up to take the red on then.
It's been very low scoring and it's been scrappy, but that will not concern Neil Robertson in the slightest. He's twice beaten Ronnie O'Sullivan in finals. 2010 World Open.
6.
More recently, 2017 Hong Kong Masters. Is he going to complete the hat-trick tonight? His resilience can't be faulted so far.
12. 40. 70.
We throw out the praise readily, don't we, to Ronnie O'Sullivan, but my goodness, what character Neil Robertson's shown here today. He's been 3 frames behind.
26.
2 occasions earlier on, but he keeps coming back for more.
Indeed he does, Alan. This Australian refuses to go down under. 10-10. The Coral Tour Championship final is a classic.
Neil and Stephen watching this one with interest, as are the crowd here in venue Cymru. A full house being treated to something very special once again. Everything Ronnie does to try and pull away from Neil hasn't worked. Neil Robertson will not lie down.
Yep, he's hanging in there. He's winning the more scrappier frames. Ronnie seems more able to win frames in like 7 or 8 minutes, as is what he does. But he seems very fragile to me, Ronnie. Looks like anything could push him over the edge. When he does make a mistake, he's really showing out. So if Neil can just hang in there, he's still got a great chance of winning this final. What
have you made of these 4 frames, Neil?
Yeah, well, what is happening in this match is that Ronnie's not winning any of the close frames or the closer frames. He's winning the frames easily. I know the score's 10-1 and stats don't really mean much, but he scored 222 more points, O'Sullivan, in the match. So that tells you he's winning all the frames easily with big breaks to Neil, a lot of the frames. But all the other frames that he's getting in first, Neil's winning them, pinching them. So that's where the frustrations lie. And he knows now, even though he's probably playing the better snooker, the score is 10-all, which means that Robertson might play his best snooker right when he needs to.
It came out well, though, didn't he, Ronnie, with a big performance in that 17th frame?
Well, he came out roaring, Stephen, didn't he? That's the thing, he came out as many people thought he might do. He played a good frame here.
Yeah, he starts He's always been a fast starter and straight into great touch there, just a little gentle little cannon there. And the century looked inevitable from right from the start in this frame. Another little cannon there. It looked like he was in flow straight away.
And he got in first in this frame, but he left this. And all credit to Neil. He was trailing by a few points in this frame, and he made a break of 53 in it, which kind of got him right back on track, you know. And 36-0 down. So that's where he's very, very tough, you know. And when Ronnie looked like he was going to get a couple of frames clear, Robertson did this, and I thought it was a good effort. Didn't win the frame at that visit, but he'd won it with this pot.
Yeah, it's not scoring. It's not being able to get bunches of frames together. You know, like Alan explained earlier on, he's just sort of hanging in there.
But then you know, Ronnie goes and wins a good frame here, 2 visits again, you know. So when you see him like this, you wonder how he ever gets beat, because he always looks, you know, he's absolutely impeccable the way he plays. He's got all the shots. He's playing attacking snooker, but I think there is frustrations coming up in the other frames. It seems to me, you know.
He's got an 88% pot success, Ronnie, over the course of the match. You know, that's not the kind of pot success that we see from him regularly when he's winning these championships.
No, when he's playing normally, he's always over the 90%. Alan liked this one. There's a translation that he said "mighty me," if anyone's wondering what "mighty me" was. But yeah, that was a fabulous pot.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, Ronnie had other chances here. That was a strange shot from Robertson. He didn't bargain on the red going up the table. But what you are seeing is look at the frustration here. Look, he just chucks the rest on the table in a minute here. And well, listen, we've all done all these things, don't we? I'm just saying the frustration. He threw it on this to the referee. You might as well take that off there. And you can sense that, you know, he actually played a funny shot there. I thought he tried to get the brown out, and he got the brown out, but he left the red. So he's just feeling frustrated.
He's trying a thin line, I think, a fine line between, you know, losing it a little bit.
Forcing it a little bit, isn't he? Just forcing it.
Neil Robertson's been playing catch-up since, obviously, won the first 2 frames of this match last night, and ever since then he's been playing catch-up. Just how important could this first frame be coming out after this little break?
The way it's going, you can see it going all the way. And yet another match this week going all the way. You know, but as I say, if it's a scoring frame, if Ronnie gets in early and the colour, the blacks in the open and the reds are nice, you do fancy him making centuries every single time he gets to the table. But if the colours get blocked up for some reason, and the frame's scrappy, you fancy Neil getting them.
I don't think it would be that significant if Robertson won the first frame, went in front. I don't think so. You might just get Ronnie playing better again. Sometimes, you know, it's a big deal when you're behind all the way and you get to the front. But I think Ronnie has just got to outplay him in the next few frames, and he's scoring well enough. It's just all the other things he's not doing as well as he can.
It's absolutely fascinating, isn't it? OK, after the break, we will bring you the conclusion of the final live from Llandudno, where we will crown
level with 5 to play then.
Ready, Neil?
£150,000 to the winner.
Yes.
60,000 to the
Frame
loser.
21. Neil Robertson's a break.
Yeah, best of 5 for 90 grand, but neither of these players thinking about the money. It's getting that title. Getting one over the other.
O'Sullivan played so well early in the first session, won 5 frames in succession from 2-0 down. But the first sign that the match was about to turn came when Robertson won the last frame of the opening session. That made it that Robertson was only 5-3 behind instead of 6-2. Meanwhile, O'Sullivan has crunched in the initial red of this frame. He's not been behind since he was 2-0 down.
Yeah, that was a Stunning long pop,
6.
wasn't it, to kick off this frame. Chose not to go into the pink from the blue, had a decent angle.
Seven.
Well, this is exactly what I was talking about in the studio at the interval. When he gets in early in a frame, the black's in the open, it's pretty much inevitable that he's going to make a big break. Such is his break building prowess and form in this tournament.
40.
This shot here is going to open up all the reds. A
50.
little bit more gently.
$22.
Quite distance from this red to the right corner. Certainly not a gimme. But right in the middle of the pocket.
23. $5.
Wow. What a ball to miss.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 25.
Just concentration, that's all that was. Took his eye off the pot to think about being the actual perfect angle in the blue.
One.
Sure, Neil Robertson will be reading the signs. His opponent is becoming increasingly more frustrated with the mistakes he's making.
9.
Would you agree, Stephen, that Robertson is looking far the more composed of the two players?
Oh, without a doubt, the body language is much more on an uneven keel. As I say, I think Ronnie's treading a fine line at the moment with his frustration. It's what makes him so fascinating to watch as a snooker player. I literally don't know what's going to happen next. Neil, meanwhile, looks like he's slipped up positionally.
60.
Has he gone far enough for the red on the left? Doesn't look like it. We see that red again. Disappointing end.
Neil Rob,
Lucky
16.
little flick on the green, but a disappointing end to that break for Neil Robertson. Been a while since he won a frame in one visit. Neil Robertson.
Foul. And a miss. Neil Robertson, 4.
Back red won't go. The fact that green and brown aren't very far apart increases the chances Robertson laying a tactical snooker. Top players have to learn to tolerate failure and frustration. They mustn't allow themselves to be distracted by getting unduly disappointed, missing an easy ball. So that's the challenge facing O'Sullivan, which so far he's coped with. Very good safety from him.
Well played. Robertson didn't want to slip past the reds and leave that red to the right corner, but I think he's going to be in trouble again.
Almost. But it is an awkward place that O'Sullivan's left the cue ball in for Robertson.
This is a wonderful shot. Okay, he may have left the red to the left corner, but it's a great effort from Neil Robertson. Ronnie O'Sullivan knew that, tapped the table. This is dangerous. The cue ball. I don't know if he can get enough right hand side to avoid the cue ball going into the reds that are around the pink. Oh, wonderful shot, and he did play it with a load of right hand side, check side. Fabulous pot.
One.
Not on any of the three ball colours though. This session, O'Sullivan has potted 2/3 of the long balls he's attempted, as has Robertson.
Ronnie O'Sullivan. One.
He still looks pretty focused to me, Ronnie O'Sullivan. He's just... everything that's happening, he's showing every single emotion. He's showing out every emotion that he's feeling. But when he's on the shot, he still looks pretty focused to me.
no doubt about it, his temperament isn't as volatile as it used to be. All that work he's done with Dr. Steve Peters has paid a big dividend.
Foul. Miss. Sullivan, 4.
O'Sullivan had a good look to see whether he could do anything more constructive than having the cue ball replaced in its original position.
A bit more of that.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done. That was good. Yeah. Okay, Ronnie.
I think Leo Scullion may have given a sign that the ball had been replaced accurately.
Left attempter to the left middle. Possibly even, is there a plant on? Possibly to the left middle as well. No, it's a single red. This is not easy. You can see the plant is available as well. Oh, brilliant pot. Brilliant pot.
If you're as good as O'Sullivan, you shouldn't always resist temptation.
That's his second opportunity to take this frame, and surely you can see he's showing his displeasure at being just the wrong angle on this red. Can't play for the black, so screwing back for the blue.
7.
But again, I can't remember ever in this tournament and being wrong side of the blue.
$13. $20.
Short again, back up for the blue.
$21.
This time he does, in fact, have to go in and out of bulk. It's the first time I've seen him have to do this week. Blue went in off the edge.
$26.
Just struggling with the cue ball in this break, which is obviously very unlike Ronnie O'Sullivan.
$27.
thought he had two chances there, might have developed the two reds, or if not, go past them and finish on the red, on the black cushion, but he's cannoned the black at just the wrong angle from his point of view.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 30.
So O'Sullivan has to be content with a 30-point lead, albeit with 51 still on.
This would be a fabulous frame for Neil Robertson to win. If he could somehow manage to do it. Frustrations in Ronnie have been clear to see. He could compound that misery by winning this frame. It would be a massive step towards possibly winning this final.
Excellent pin edge safety. The very thinnest of edges. So was that difficult shot because the red was so close to the cushion. And what an outcome.
It's just wonderful. Absolutely wonderful shot. Get that connection in the red, as you say, Clive, tighten the cushion and play it with side. It's just genius.
Foul. Miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 4.
He doesn't need to take this red on. Very risky. Okay, he could take the cue ball up to the bulk end. Play it as kind of a shot to nothing.
In and out. That red would have given him the frame, barring a snooker.
And a little bit fortunate, you have to say, not to leave a pot on the red after seeing the red go up that end of the table.
Now O'Sullivan's on the back foot in the safety duel.
Yeah, I have to say, if I was in the position Ronnie was in, I would have definitely have played the red to the middle, but now sitting in the safety of the commentary box, you kind of see other angles, and possibly it wasn't the shot to play.
Good escape. To what extent does Robertson fancy the red along the rail? Preferred to lay the snooker, which is a lot easier with no risk attached. Pretty good outcome though. with cue ball in the jaws of a pocket.
Yeah, Neil Robertson did very well to show absolutely no emotion coming to the table. As Ron O'Sullivan has had what a result he's had there. Okay, almost potted the red, but to leave the cue ball there. Robertson must have been expecting to have some sort of pot to go for from that snooker. What a shot! What a shot!
Oh, out of the jaws of difficulty to pot the initial red in what could turn out to be a winning clearance.
Yeah, I was watching Ronnie O'Sullivan. He was actually tapping his thigh in appreciation of that pot. That was top drawer. Massive moment in this final. So, in taking that yellow,
3.
Robertson needs 2 pinks, or pink and a black actually. To win this frame at this visit. One behind, 43 on. 2 pinks would tie.
Four.
Over-screwed by about 3-4 inches
10.
to make this a comfortable shot to the right corner. As I said, needs a black to be able to win at this visit. Pink for the respot. Black's not in its spot, so not easy to get on, and if he does get on it, it's not going to be straightforward to pot the black and get back up for the yellow. Because he's going to miss the cannon on the pink, he's going to leave himself quite a high black if he plays the stun across to the direct stun across to the side cushion as he's pointing his cue to there. Because it's going to have a little bit of check side on it, the cue ball.
After all that, he misses the red. A slightly tricky cutback with the rest. So, last red was an easy pot for O'Sullivan to clinch this frame and go one in front again.
Yeah, the first yellow that Neil Robertson played off the third last red. That was the problem, because he left himself the wrong angle on the red. To be able to come down this end of the table to play the black, he was always behind the 8 ball, as it were, after that.
12.
They began the evening at 8 all. This will be the third time O'Sullivan has gone the odd frame in front. Twice Robertson has equalised.
Sullivan,
Can he
16.
equalise again?
And the frame.
Meanwhile, O'Sullivan leads by 11 frames to 10, within 2 of the winning post. Who won it?
Ray O'Sullivan to break.
First to 13 wins. O'Sullivan leads 11 to 10.
Well, all day Neil's been able to peg back Ronnie O'Sullivan, but if he doesn't win this frame, he's going to be 2 down with 3 to play. Problem to solve straight away. This frame, decent break off from Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Yep.
I remember you stressing the importance of the break off when you lost a few years ago to O'Sullivan in the European Open final in Torquay, because after virtually every break off, the other player made a frame winning break. And you said afterwards that you felt that your break-off cost you the match.
Yeah, I mean, now even more than then, I think it's become such an important shot to get right. Especially in the company today. Ronnie O'Sullivan, Neil Robertson. Such great long potters. Meanwhile, Neil Robertson has left this red to left middle as an opener. Didn't try to be too clever with the cue ball to make sure the pot. If it's blue to the middle, probably in between green and brown twice. Touch a left-hand side.
Unusual for O'Sullivan to catch one of the baulk colours
6.
on the way out of baulk.
Ray O'Sullivan, 6.
I knew he was always going to be leaving Neil Robertson this red to the right corner, but it was imperative that he got that cue ball close to that baulk cushion, and he has done.
Just a containing safety to the bunch. That was the intention. But the end red became available.
1. Seven.
Pink spot occupied.
8. 15. 60.
Up for blue this time.
23.
Hopefully the perfect angle to develop some more reds from the bunch.
T4.
If he goes into the bunch, he wants to hit the right-hand side as we look down the table. That's what he's done. He always had that red that was loose to the right of the bunch to, well, the plan was so he could hold the cue ball in the middle of the table, but
T9.
just got into the cue ball just ever so slightly. Wow, this is a tough shot. Wow. Okay, he's lost the cue ball. It's perfect position in the black, but that was a brilliant pot on the red.
From tight on the rail, a tough pot, and uncertain about the positional outcome after cannoning the other reds.
It looks to me, Clive, that not only is Ronnie O'Sullivan playing Neil Robertson, but he's playing against Ronnie O'Sullivan as well.
Well, he's such a self-critic that there's very often a lot of truth in that. But that's not stopped him saying what looks at first glance like a good safety. But he's still frustrated about not making more of the visit that's just concluded. Did very well to avoid cannoning the right-hand red. But he's offered a possible pot to O'Sullivan. Just a wisp from the tip, distracting him for a moment. But the pot was extremely solid.
He's playing some brilliant shots.
6. 7.
There have been times, particularly this afternoon, when O'Sullivan's game has been 1 or 2 degrees under, and he got a little irritated and tetchy a few times, but he's
12.
really come through in this final session crisis.
30.
I'll be surprised if he doesn't clinch 12-10 lead at this visit.
$80. 90.
Well, it's certainly the most animated I've seen Ronnie O'Sullivan in a match for a long time, but it's not stopped him playing some incredible snooker tonight. Okay, it's not break after break after break like sometimes we're used to seeing him, but some of the safety, some of the potting, it's been right at the top drawer. Round of applause signifies that O'Sullivan has passed the snooker's required stage. Looks like there's going to be 2 up, 3 to play. No room for error now for Neil Robertson.
31.
Well, the frame was already won, but
36.
that clip off the brown assisted him to perfect position.
37. $42. 43. 45. 46.
This is very, very good. O'Sullivan went into the lead in this frame with a break of 30.
53. 55.
And he's gone on to clinch it with this half century. So Ronnie O'Sullivan leads Neil Robertson by 12 frames to 10. 2 up with 3 to play. O'Sullivan 2 up with 3 to play, and the likely recipient of the
Frame
Coral
23.
Tour Championship trophy.
Neil Robertson.
Don't know what it was that caused that noise, but Woodson took an extra few seconds to recompose himself. But that's not his best break-off shot. Possibility to right corner.
Yeah, I think he's straight enough that he can drop on the black if he wants.
Is something distracting O'Sullivan? It is.
Guys, not on the shot, please.
Well, I don't know whether the interruption made any difference. Perhaps he would have missed it anyway. Certainly wasn't easy. But he committed to it. Robertson has hardly missed one of those in 3 sessions.
You have to go back to frame 11. Last time Neil Robertson won a frame in one visit with a break of 106. So he could really do with starting to score.
9.
There have been some epic recoveries this week. Judd Trump over Mark Williams from 4 down with 5 to play.
60.
O'Sullivan over Trump from 6-2 and 8-5 down. 1-10-9 final black.
70.
Into the bunch here. He knows he'll be at least on the red that's closest to the cue ball now. Slightly above centre, touch your left hand side. Yeah, well played. Doesn't want that red to go in the middle. Doesn't want that red to go in the middle.
Foul. Neil Robertson
So
17.
unlucky.
And Neil Sullivan 7.
The last shot that Neil Robertson's going to play.
Not for nothing is snooker sometimes called the cruel game.
He's left this red
8.
to left corner. And just follow through. Hopefully be on the black here. And he's aiming low on the cue ball. Almost played a kind of a stun shot through the reds. It was never going to be 100% guaranteed where the cue ball was going to end up. Well, whatever colour it takes on. Well, this black is... I can't tell you how tough this is. He's leaving the world on should he miss this.
Neil Sullivan 9.
Had to play it, but maybe he won't get another shot in this frame.
1 more hopefully. Thank you.
I don't expect Neil to miss this red, but he would have possibly entitled to expect something more straightforward than this as an opener, the way the reds are split.
One.
Robertson has never been in front except when he led 2-0. He's shown so much skill and tenacity, constantly coming back when O'Sullivan has spurted
6.
away from him. But now he needs the biggest recovery of all to save the match from
7.
2 down with 3 to play. Good chance to get on the right road now.
Eleven. 12.
Just a sign of a Just a slightly tighter grip on the left hand there. And get the cue ball back right side of the blue. Huge pressure on Neil Robertson. He knows every mistake could be his last now. Again, what's that cue ball to stop? It's okay.
70.
Robertson is a very cool match player, as you would expect from someone who's won the World, UK and Masters titles.
$25. 26. 33.
Won't need the awkward red to clinch the frame.
$34.
Red in colour. Now to leave Ron O'Sullivan needing a snooker and extend this match at least another frame.
$41.
Just made sure of the black and strive over much for position because the black alone was sufficient.
49. $56. Foul. Neil Robertson 56, Ron O'Sullivan 4. Frame Neil Robertson.
So, a very cool and skillful response from Neil Robertson. He still trails though by 12 frames to 11. O'Sullivan one up with.
Frame 24. Ron O'Sullivan.
Neil Robertson still very much in this match, although he's got to win back-to-back frames still to snatch victory from O'Sullivan's grasp. O'Sullivan pursuing his 36th ranking title to equal my colleague Stephen Hendry's record. Do you have any emotions, Stephen, when O'Sullivan's closing in and perhaps surpassing your records?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be lying if I said I said I didn't mind. Obviously, you don't like to see your records being beaten, but I think as soon as I retired, I knew certain records were just going to be not if, but when. And there's no doubt Ronnie's going to surpass, if not tonight, very soon. That total of 36. Oh, so close.
Just caught the near jaw.
One.
Didn't play that as well as he would have liked. That shot, Neil Robertson. It's not always straightforward when the red's right in the jaws of the pocket to get the cue ball out of there. He's a bit closer to the cushion than he would have liked. If he can just drop past that, this red, it should be okay. Yeah, he couldn't get past the red, but he's got one to the right middle. So first scoring chance.
8. Nine.
You're going back to your question, Clive. I don't think there's any shame in losing records to someone who plays the game like Ronnie O'Sullivan. Pretty good positional shot from Neil Robertson there. Put the cue ball in an area. Giving himself the choice of 2 reds. So many close matches this week, as befits having 8 of the form players of the season all involved. It's been one one-sided match, the match when Ronnie O'Sullivan beat Stuart Bingham.
And what I've liked, and many other people have liked, is that the longer format,
21.
best of 19 and final best of 25, has given scope for ebb and flow
22.
as the plot of each match has unfolded.
Yeah, I think it's almost a shame in a way that this is not the tournament that precedes the World Championship. And these players would go straight from this long frame event straight to the World Championship. They'd be so sharp, so ready for the crucible.
27.
Well, the China Open starts Monday week, and the final there is best of 21 in one day, 2 sessions, 10 and 11, with a £225,000 first prize. So the players who are in it will really be trying. O'Sullivan won't be in it, which I think is a wise decision. There is a danger in getting played out before the crucible comes round. Well,
Robertson, 28.
There seemed to be no problem at all for Robertson to build up a very useful lead, but a black off the spot unexpectedly eludes him.
Yeah, that was nothing to do with pressure, that shot. That was just purely concentrating on the cue ball. Putting the cue ball in the right place where he wanted it and took his eye off the pot. Ronnie O'Sullivan will play the red that's closest to the pink here and flick the other red out the way. This could be the beginning of the end.
7.
The way the reds are situated is almost like a practice routine. I really couldn't ask for them to be in a better position.
8.
Stroke that black in beautifully.
50. Six.
That wasn't the cleanest of pots. That's why he's got more angle on this pink than he was planning. It won't be a problem, but it kind of sharpens you up a bit if you play a shot like that and you think, wow, you know, I didn't concentrate properly, I didn't pot that properly. Then you say to yourself, that's not going to happen again.
22. 23.
Again, not the best positional shot he's ever played.
30.
Very unlike Ronnie O'Sullivan to make hard work in a position like this.
It was a slight cutback, but Sullivan made light of the difficulty.
You asked me, Clive, about how I felt about losing records. Someone who I'm sure will be watching this could be about to lose his #1 ranking, Mark
39.
Selby.
That's right. If O'Sullivan completes his victory, he goes to world #1 for the first time since May 2010. Not because he hasn't always been the man to beat, but
46.
he's tended to play fewer tournaments than other players, particularly this season. Although his success rate in those that he has played has been very high.
47. 52. 53.
Nearly there. Red black or red pink would mean that Robertson would need a snooker.
58.
Yeah, I think my memory from this week will be that yellow he potted against Judd Trump in the deciding frame.
There's been some fabulous snooker, as that means Neil Robertson needs a snooker in this frame. It's all over.
65.
Sullivan has had his difficult spells today, but there's never been any doubt about his class and his resolution. He really wanted to win this one.
69. 70. Thank you. $74.
Not enough balls left for a century, but all through the match,
78.
O'Sullivan has exploited his break-making opportunities extremely well. His break-making is always the last thing to crack in any
83.
way. So with that 96 clearance, well, make that 89 because of the in-off. Ronnie O'Sullivan beats Neil Robertson by 13 frames to 11 to become the initial Coral Tour Championship champion. He goes to number 1 for the first time since May 2010. He takes the first prize of £150,000, and with 35 titles, ranking titles, he equals Stephen Hendry's record. Neil Robertson has competed extremely well. He was always trailing, never better than level, after leading very early, 2-0. But it is O'Sullivan's evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, after an incredible week here at the Coral Tour Championship, we welcome our presentation party. Mr. Adrian Osman, the head of sponsorship for Coral, and Simon Brownell, director of World Snooker. We begin with our runner-up, collecting the runners-up medal and prize money of £60,000, Neil Robertson.
Well, Neil, you really challenged Ronnie tonight. You've been a pleasure to watch all week. It's been a big week for you, and I know perhaps the snooker hasn't been at the forefront of your mind, but just just sum up how this week has gone for you.
Yeah, overall it's been a brilliant week. Obviously, I certainly would have taken getting to the final, but you know, you know, we both obviously could have played better, but in a best out of 25, you're never going to get the highest quality of, you know, over 3 sessions. But I thought it was a fantastic contest. We both just gave it absolutely everything, fought so hard. Just disappointed with the way I played the black. It was the wrong shot. I should have just gone into the bunch of reds rather than try to play for a loose red in the middle. And yeah, I was caught in 2 minds. And then yeah, but you know, he came to the table and he took him like the champion he is. And just want to congratulate him on number 1 again. Every time we seem to be playing, it's always a milestone of some sorts. But yeah.
And Neil, for you, another final here again. Of course, your 3rd final in a row. Things are looking good for you. Off to China and then the Crucible.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, obviously, you know, 3 finals in a row is a fantastic effort, but you know, to lose the last 2 is very disappointing. Even though, you know, I'm playing the equivalent of the Roger Federer of the snooker table, he's probably even better than that. Well, he is actually, and yeah, he's just an unbelievable player. And but you know, at least he let me play a little bit more than last time. So yeah, looks good going to the World Championships. You know, at least I know that, you know, should we meet at some point, then you know, I can give him a real good game.
Listen, get home to that family of yours. Well done. Thank you very much for your time this week. Let's have a word with our champion. Ronnie, wow, you know, never failed to deliver. Congratulations again. On top of the world, how does that feel?
Yeah, I mean, I've never been driven by number one, because if I was, then I'd probably enter a few more tournaments. So to get to number one, only having played half the tournaments the other guys has, it's probably one of the best achievements, I suppose, in sport across all levels, you know. So I'm delighted, but just, you know, for me it's just about trying to get a bit of silverware now towards the end of my career, because I'm ready for the seniors tour.
You have royally entertained us this week. I think the match against Judd will live long in the memory, and of course the performance in Preston as well. How have you enjoyed this Coral Tour series?
Yeah, it's been all right. Listen, I just want to say, you know, congratulations to Neil. You know, him and Judd have been the two best players so far this season, along with myself. You know, so if one of us three doesn't win the world, I'd be very surprised. You know, because the consistency that we've been showing through the season, you never know. But to me, this guy here, he's got the Rolls-Royce Q action. You know, he's got the courage, the ability, and he will definitely win more world titles because he has the bottle. He's proved he can do it. And I just think it was a good advert for snooker this week. A great tournament. The crowd have been fantastic. You know, I just want to thank my sponsors, Affinity. They've been really good, you know, supporting me, and obviously BetChris. You know, they've been fantastic. Without their support for the last 3 or 4 years, it would have been a lot tougher. So, you know, I need to thank all them people, because you just don't do it on your own. So it's been a good team effort, but yeah, thank you.
Well, listen, I'm going to let you get presented in a moment. Just to say, I know that the records aren't top of your list of importance, but that was your 36th ranking title record, now level, of course, with Stephen Hendry. Wouldn't it be nice to go past him at the Crucible?
Yes. Honestly, I'm not driven by records. Obviously, I just like to play, and I like to enjoy the game. I like to play well all the time if I could, and when I don't, I get a bit disappointed, a bit hard on myself. But I've learnt to be a bit easy on myself. So, but we'll see. Listen, whatever happens, it's been a good career, and I just enjoy playing. And you know, I think the seniors tour is ready for me now. I'm too old for all this business. It's too hard work trying to keep up with these youngsters. You know, all this grey hair, and it's not easy.
Doesn't look that way. Listen, I'm going to let you collect another trophy here. Ladies and gentlemen, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner collecting the Coral Tour Championship trophy. Prize money of £150,000 and the title of 2019 Coral Tour Championship, the Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan!
Well, we have got rather used to seeing Ronnie O'Sullivan lifting silverware on ITV Snooker. And there he is again with the inaugural Tour Championship trophy. Stephen Hendry, that's his 36th ranking title. He looks at times to be in the form of his life. We've seen a little bit of everything this week from Ronnie, haven't we? We've seen patience, we've seen power, we've seen sublime snooker, we've seen the full gambit.
Yep, and he had to battle his demons tonight, and the way he was playing, he showed a lot. As I said in the commentary, it's the most animated I've seen him for a long time in regards to you know, showing out about bad shots and whatever. But in between that, there was so much brilliance, individual brilliance. It was just it was great to watch.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, all of the things you mentioned and the frustration, which often has seen him lose matches, but he seemed to be able to channel that in an aggressive way and still come through. You know, there were times when he didn't even look like he was under pressure. He was just playing like sort of freewheeling through frames at the end of that match. Quite difficult to do, so close to a win.
And, you know, Alan, he's been the man we've talked about all week, obviously coming off the back of Preston, yet he soaks up all that pressure, the attention, the focus, and he delivers time after time, even when he is, as Neil says, sometimes not getting the shots, not getting the run of the ball that he wants.
It's a good point, because he does. He comes into every tournament now as the overwhelming favourite, and he lived up to it, we'll have to say. He's got every way of playing now. He can dig out results, you know. He can win close frames. He can do it in every which way you want, and he's the best at the moment, and going into Sheffield, he's the man to beat.
Let's take a look at how he won this final then. This is the last frame.
Yeah, this, as Stephen said, was just a lapse of concentration. He's playing for a couple of reds to left middle, and at this level you're going to get punished. These two shots, incidentally, by Ronnie to follow it up are not easy. Little blind red, same with this pink, and when he potted the pink, guys, you think it's done and dusted.
Neil will be disappointed the way he's lost this match with a black off a spot. Poor way to lose the last frame, because he had a decent chance there, but once he lost it, it was just inevitable, wasn't it, what was going to happen?
Well, I think that was the shot when you know the game's over, because he played the ground. He's got remarkable cue ball control there, and never more than just that one shot alone, which showed you exactly what it is. And the fact is, you know, he's won this event, and he looks by far and away the best pro in the world. I think that Neil Robertson chucked everything he had at him. I thought he's almost a little emotional when he spoke to you, Jill, there at the end, as if, you know, I've given everything I can. He's won the lot, hasn't he? He's got everything. He's got the Coral Cup standings. He's won that. He's won the, I don't know, 36 ranking events. He's just got everything,
and he's creeping very close towards £1 million worth of prize money in a season, which is phenomenal, given, as you say, he doesn't play in all the events.
Yeah, and he just plays to win. That's the beauty of it. You know, he doesn't play for money. He plays for his own kind of satisfaction and try to perform the way he knows that he can. He said many times he thought he was this good when he was a kid, and that's the reason he plays now. And I think he's got his schedule bang on. You know, he doesn't play in everything.
I think the other thing we saw today, particularly towards the end of the match, we say he was animated. You know, you could see from the look on his face when things didn't go his way. He wanted this, and I think, you know, when you look at the career that he's had, the trophies that he's won, he still wants it. Yeah, this is the kind of trophy that Stephen would have, you know, if he was still playing or this was around you, you'd love to have won this one, because it's a high-profile event, it's an 8-man event, the cream are in it over long matches, and it would have suited you if it had been, I know one thing, you'd have been in it every year, probably #1 seed, but, you know, it would have been something you'd love to have played in.
Absolutely, you want to prove yourself against the other best players in the world, and I think that's why he showed so much emotion when he beat Judd Trump, because Judd Trump had beaten him in the final of the Masters, and I think that was a massive win for Ronnie, and that's why he showed so much after he'd done it. But yeah, these are the events that will get Ronnie's juices flowing. That's why he doesn't play in everything. But these sort of things, yeah, and I mean, it's frightening for the others. He's going to have 3 weeks rest before Sheffield. And that's what suits him. He picks his tournaments because that's how he feels he can get the best out of his game. Obviously, we've had this big, long final today, best of 25. Great preparation for the Crucible. You know, we say it's the joint now with you on 36 ranking title wins. You know, it could happen in Sheffield. It's not if, it's when, isn't it? I knew that when I retired. All the century breaks, the maximums, everything. It was if not when. So yeah, I'm expecting it. But he is. Ronnie said out there, it's the first time I've sort of heard him big up his own chances in the world. He says one of him, Robertson or Trump will probably win it.
And do you know why that could be? I mean, he's only lost to 4 opponents this season, and only one of those is the top 16 player, Judd Trump. The others all outside the 16 in the world. So why is anyone going to beat him?
Yeah, it's going to be a big job for anyone to beat him. It's a good point Stephen made. 3 weeks rest before the big one.
OK. Well, just a reminder, we've barely recovered from Cheltenham and we're off racing at Aintree. It's the Grand National Festival, of course. It starts on Thursday, the 4th of April. Every day the build-up from 9:30 on ITV4 in the opening show. And then from 2 o'clock, you'll have live racing on ITV and STV. And if you've enjoyed the Coral Series, who couldn't have enjoyed the Coral Series? We have got more snooker coming your way. At the end of the year, on the 4th of November, we will all be back at the Rico in Coventry for the Champion of Champions. My thanks to the guys. Great to have you with us. Thanks to you for joining us. Thanks to Llandudno and thanks to Ronnie. He's only gone and done it again. Bye for now.